Hello, everybody. I hope you're having a good day today. The Lord's Day. Some of you are in services now, some of you have already been, and some of you are getting ready to go. So enjoy your day today and spend some time giving God the worship that He is due, and then do something for God. And don't think that just going to church is doing God a favor. No, I mean that's your duty. So we're going to talk about one of the commands of God, and it seems quite obvious that yeah, there's a problem with it. The title of the lesson is "Do we have a problem with go?" And all I can say is, well, duh. Okay, it is obvious that the church of today has a problem with the command go. It appears that in far too many congregations that the members have come to relax in their nice buildings and they do not want anything to change. And it seems that the members feel that if they have the truth, the lost should be coming in droves to receive the gospel message. And it appears that they do not want outsiders coming into their fold because they are certainly not following the command to go. And it seems that a lot of congregations are put out when a new convert arrives. That means the preaching will be the same old stuff they already know. Well, what is wrong with that? I mean, we need to know that stuff. Such teaching needs to become old hat to us to the point that, okay, well, we know it well enough, we can go teach it. See, we need to know it so well that we can be prepared to do what Jesus has asked us to do. I mean, let's face it, guys. If the preacher all of a sudden has a case of laryngitis and can't speak, could you get up and present a lesson? I mean, I know some people are nervous standing in front of an audience, but you should know this stuff well enough that it's old hat for you. And so, actually, Jesus did command us, you and I, to go. As a result of not going as we should, our churches are getting smaller, and we wonder why. It should be obvious to all that we are not following the command to go as we should. So the command to go was given to the disciples and the apostles in the Great Commission. And we can read of phrases such as go into all the world and go teach all nations. And so we see that some of the early churches were so concerned about souls that they sent people who would be called missionaries. And we can just imagine that their words to these missionaries were go teach, preach, spread the gospel message to all mankind. And then, of course, also remember in Acts chapter 8 that a great persecution arose over the entire church, and the members basically were scattered. Now, did they go around whining and complaining about their situation? Oh, they're picking on us, they're persecuting us. No. Verse 4 says that those that went, they went everywhere preaching the word. So this is the command so many who claim to be Christian avoids. Now, why is that? Well, there's several reasons, but we're going to talk about some of those. And it appears that the message of the cross is something they are ashamed of. Well, no, I'm never ashamed of that, you might say. Do you share that message with others? Well, why not? All right, so there are many who have been in the church a long time and have never taught a soul the gospel so as to save them. And we claim to have a heart that wants everyone to go to heaven, but our behavior suggests that those we want to go to heaven are really only our brethren in the church where we attend. We really don't care if anybody else goes to heaven. At least that's how a lot of people act and how they behave. And some I've actually heard people talk that way sometimes, and it's a real tragedy when I hear that. And so it shouldn't be that way. So as we see there's a problem with the word go, the command go, let us review some ways that we can go today. And here's some suggestions. And they're not as difficult as you might imagine. Yeah, some people want to jump on a plane and fly to a foreign country and do missionary work. Oh, you can do that. You can drive somewhere. But anyway, anywhere there's a drought of the gospel is a good missionary field. Anywhere there are people is a good missionary field. There's nothing wrong with that. Yet even in our own communities, there are lost souls. And we have neighbors, we have friends, we have coworkers, and there's others in the community. Sometimes they're even in our own homes. And God has told you to teach them. So do not put this off as the duty of the preacher, because the preacher's not going to come in your workplace and try and teach your coworkers. He's not going to come in to your home unless you invite him and try and teach your family members. And so, yeah, I mean, the people you come in contact with, that is your world. That's the ones you're supposed to go into and preach the gospel. So you might be wondering about ways to go. Let's look at some ideas. Go by visiting your neighbors. You do not have to go in pounding a pulpit and yelling that they are doomed. I mean, just visit and show them Jesus in your life. Show them a good example. I mean, you control your language and you behave yourself, and show them that you really enjoy going to church and worshiping God in spirit and in truth. Show them that you care about their soul and you have concern over their spiritual condition, and invite them to church. I mean, how hard can that be? Invite somebody to church. Well, let's put it this way. If you're not living like a Christian is supposed to live, you would probably be embarrassed to ask somebody that question. But if you are living as sound and faithful life as you can, it shouldn't be any problem. Would you like to go to church with me? I mean, that's just 5 little words, 6 words. All right, so that's just one thing you can do. It's not hard to do, and yeah, you'll probably get the standard what everybody. Well, no, not really. I'm not really that interested, and blah blah blah. So, but still, you should be at least willing to invite them, and you never know. Sometime they just might surprise. Well, okay, I think I'll check it up. I've been thinking about this, and so do that. You can also pick up the phone and call your friends and others who are in a lost condition. And you know who they are. They're in a lost condition because you know they're not coming to church. They haven't obeyed the gospel. So you know they're lost. And so what do you do about it? Well, you offer to take them to services. You can do that. Offer to host a home Bible study if they are not comfortable in church. And you know, believe it or not, many people are intimidated by church. They don't know what to expect and they're afraid to go. So we have to teach them to desire Jesus and salvation, and teach them that that is more important than their fears. All right, here's a way that is probably the easiest way of all that you can imagine. Go by and through the internet. I mean, this recent innovation can have a great potential, and sending out an invitation to serve God can be sent by email, by instant messaging, or one of the social media sites. It's not hard to set up a blog or a social media account. And many people are on sites. You know, I mean, years ago they had MySpace, but people more or less migrated over to Facebook and Twitter and Snapchat, and there's some other social media sites out there, but those are probably the most well-known. And other types of communication. Rather than just send funny stuff and crazy pictures and political posts, if you're a Christian, why not use this tool to tell people about Jesus and what he can do for them? I mean, we know he can provide salvation. God, speaking through his word, has given us everything we need to know. So just share the message of the Bible, the message of God, and talk to people about what is right and the difference between right and wrong. And yeah, you can teach them. Yes, Jesus said few would enter that narrow gate, and that's probably the case with your friends. But you know what? If you can save one soul, then you have a chance of going to heaven. If you don't take the opportunity and try and teach any soul, you're not going to go to heaven. I mean, you can study that if you want to. You can just be a nice person if you think that'll get you to heaven. But no, you got to bear fruit. That's what Jesus said. He that does not bear fruit will be cut off and cast into the fire. I mean, that's a pretty strong warning there. So One might have the ability and the resources to set up a web page that is designed to assist Christians reach their goals and teach the gospel message. Yeah. See, providing this service allows people around the world to access your site, and hopefully and prayerfully they can learn the truth of God's Word and make the adjustments in their life where they can learn to live the life of a Christian. I've got a website, and I've had it for 20 years now, simplebiblestudies.com. And I have gotten millions of hits on the site. And there's a lot of information there for not only for the new converts and new Christians, those seeking to learn about Christ, but also for aged and well-versed Christians, giving them ideas, sermon outlines, sermons, and articles, and other spiritual messages. There's things that you can do if you have the ability to do something. And as one person told me, if you have the ability, you have the responsibility. And so ability and opportunity is responsibility. So think of it that way. See, there's many ways in which a person can go. See, if you've been complacent about going, perhaps it is time to do one of the many methods available to you. Do not let it bother you that you might fail. I mean, you're going to. Let's just face it. But that shouldn't keep you from trying, because really, these people are not rejecting you. They're rejecting God. That's what Jesus said. So give them the message. If they don't want to hear it, I mean, that's their problem. Yes, it is. But if you fail to give it to them, God's going to hold you accountable. You remember Ezekiel chapter 3, how he appointed him a watchman. Go read that story in chapter 3 and also in chapter 34 of Ezekiel, and see what God told Ezekiel about his responsibility to preach the message, and whose fault it would be if he didn't. See, God already knows that many will choose to ignore the gospel call. He already knows that. We know that too. But you know what? That should not stop us from trying to find those souls that are seeking. You know, John 4:21 tells us there are souls seeking to worship God in spirit and truth. Our job is to go out and present the message, and hopefully that message will fall upon the ears of those who are doing so. And yes, it might surprise you. Some people say, well, they're looking for a church that follows the Bible. You know what? That's what we offer in the Church of Christ. At least most churches of Christ do. There's a lot of churches that do not do that. But true sound congregations of the Lord's church offer the message that comes from the Bible. And some people are looking for that. But realize this, to do nothing is a violation of God's command. And we know it's the right thing to do. James 4:17, if you know it's the right thing to do and do not do it, to him it becomes sin. And so, yes. So, doing nothing is a violation of God's command, and a soul cannot go to heaven if they don't do anything to share the gospel message. So share the message. Don't worry about the consequences. Don't worry about the ridicule and the persecution. If you want to go to heaven, you're going to share the message of the gospel to anybody who will listen. If you offer Bible studies, or can we study the Bible together? And if you're uncomfortable doing that, just ask your preacher, hey, I've got my neighbor to commit to a Bible study. Can you come and guide the Bible study? You know what? Chances are he's going to say yes. So, yeah, he'll help you and assist you. That's his job, to help you. And so if you teach your neighbor, your friend, or your co-worker, and they obey the gospel, you're going to feel good about that. And you're going to realize, you know what? This is a great feeling. I'd like to get it again. So you're going to try, and you're probably going to make a greater effort trying to teach the next soul. And yes, there's heartaches along the way, and there's frustration. But you know what? If you don't do it, you're going to be lost. I mean, you just have to realize that's what the Bible teaches. So consider these things. And like I say, have a good and blessed day. I mean, it should be if you spend time with other Christians. It's definitely going to be a blessed day. But if you can get more of your friends to become Christians, that would be great. That would be wonderful. And that's what God wants. You go out, you set a good example, let your light shine, and then you teach them and always be ready to give them an answer of the hope that's in you. Because you've got to show that hope. See, if you're not out there showing that you have a hope of going to heaven, nobody's going to ask you about it. But if you're living the life of a Christian, yeah, some people are going to persecute you. Some people are going to make fun of you. But you know what? God said that would happen. Jesus said it would happen. But you know what? He also said, you'll be blessed if you do. Read that in the Beatitudes, verse 11 and verse 12. Yeah, blessed are you when people make fun of you and curse you for my name's sake. I mean, that's a paraphrase, but that's pretty much what Jesus said. If you don't trust me there, just look it up yourself. All right, that's it. Y'all have a good and blessed day, and Lord willing, be back again tomorrow with another message. All right, bye-bye for now.